Hi, folks. Old Man Grognard here. And I don't know where it's going to go, but I jotted down 10 things that have to do with gaming etiquette. Um, you know, a little bit of backstory. I started playing when I was 22. I know that's kind of late, but you know, um, that was 1981 approximately. And I knew from the get that it was gaming is a social thing. It's a social get together. It's not a computer game. It's not an MMO, whatever. Well, actually, MMOs are semi social, I guess. But, you know, it kind of, even at a young age, it kind of appalled me that certain gamers would act a certain way that belied their maturity level or even, you know, good sense. I used to call it common sense, and my ex-girlfriend used to say, "Well, if it was common, everybody would have it." But and every once in a while, there's like I've done it on blogs, on podcasts about gamer etiquette, what you do at a convention, what can you do in somebody's house, things like that. And this thing may have been a bit beaten to death, but if I feel that with every new generation of gamer, you have to do this. I'm sorry you have to do this, but if especially if they're starting younger and younger, it's all part of the maturity process for them. And I think gaming is a great way to, if a kid's growing up, to learn how to interact with people, adults, and other people, not just kids. It's a great way of learning that kind of stuff. Not that I miss manners or anything, but you know, here's a few things like, say, if you're gaming over at somebody's house. First of all, if you can't make it, call. Either call the hosts or call the DM, especially the DM. I things come up in my Saturday game. I missed the last Saturday game because I was taking my grandson to go play Pokemon, which is the last time I get to do it before the end of the year because we're going out of town, blah, 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 blah. And also, I'm going to miss the next one because I'm coming home from being out of town. We're driving to California, and I'm going to miss the one after that for because I have an audition for shows. And my DM knows this. So because I, way ahead of time, I told him, but I'm not going to call him. I at least give them a 24-hour notice, and I can usually see way ahead of time. I got a calendar right up here on the wall. I've marked it down, when we're going to play and things like that. And if something comes up, and there's always an emergency, you know. I mean, I'm not saying, somebody may have a accident, have a heart attack, something like that. And I can understand that. If I'm a DM, I'll give that a pass. But I mean, if you're just not like, yeah, dude, hey, oh, what, you just, what, we've been here an hour. You're just waking up and you have a hangover or something. Okay, fine. Goodbye. I'll let that go once. The second time, shame on me. But, be considerate and call. And that also goes if you're going to be late. That was my second one. Be on time or call. Um, some DMs may give you a little penalty or something like that, depending on if you're late. If it's a habit all the time, I think the DM and the player should talk. But give people the courtesy call. Everybody's got cell phones now. And if nothing else, I believe there's still pay phones out there. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen one. But anyway, yeah, call. My third one was be polite to the host. This goes for actually be polite to the DM and the host if they're not one and the same. I mean, you're at their house. I'm talking about if you're not in a public place. Even if you're in a public place like a game store, be polite to the proprietor or the house. They're letting you use their house to play a game, and they don't have to do that. They could tell you to take a hike. Same with the businesses, same with the game stores. You play in a library, everything like that. Respect the people who run the place. Okay, that's easy to do. And the fourth one was, which goes around to we see this on the podcast, D.B.A.D. Don't be a dick. Just being generally, kind of like a jerk. Don't be a jerk to the players. Don't be a jerk to the DM. Don't be a jerk to the person hosting the game. I wish I could give you specific examples, but you'll know it when you see it. Um, this fifth one, this has a long history for gamers, and it was one of the things I was appalled about when I found out that like adults are acting this way or being this way. Bathe, please. Use deodorant, whatever you have to do. I mean, I remember I went to an RPGA weekend at the game store a long time ago, and this one guy sitting there, and he obviously hasn't bathed in a week or so. And one of the girls came up with a can of Lysol right behind him and sprayed it on him, and he still didn't get a clue. Come on, guys. Gaming. What can I say? Hygiene. Bathe, brush your teeth, things like that. Um, I don't bathe every day, but if I'm going to a game, I sure will. And I do have deodorant, so there's really no excuse. Soap is cheap. Food. Now, your group will probably come up with some, arrangement for food. Um, whether it's BYO or you just go out to get it and take a break, or you have it brought in. Our group usually collects. Somebody will either make something or somebody will go to like Domino's or something like that. And we usually, throw in the money, or they let me do this. I'm not really sure whether I'm going to have money on me or not come game day, the way our finances go. So what I do is I make sure I buy a 12 pack of soda just so we have drinks there. And it's like, okay, here's my contribution drinks and I'd buy it like, a week ahead of time. When we had money. So I wanted to make sure I contribute something as far as the food. And if it's every man for himself, bring your own lunch, bring your own snacks. If you have snacks to share, say so. And you know, kind of take care of it like that. Um, Alcohol at a game. All I can say is ask. Just don't show up with a six pack or a bottle because some groups, there's a lot of Christian groups who frown on that kind of thing, and also the people, gaming is somewhat family friendly. So if you got smaller kids in the party in the group, I wouldn't. Um, my group, at least one guy is a brewer, so he and two or three of them are connoisseurs of beer. So they'll bring the new beer that they found, or one of the guys, oh, I just made that batch, try it, and stuff like that. And we have one 11-year-old, no, 12-year-old in the group. And, we're kind of cool with like drinking beer or something like that around him. He's cool. His parents are cool. But I know like at least two or three people, including the DM, like to partake of the cannabis. And basically, they'll either send him out of the room when they do that, or preferably they go in another room to do that. That's what I would recommend if you're going to go that way. I'm not encouraging anybody to do that, but if you have to deal with it, that's the way to deal with it. And if you're a player who likes to drink or do that, ask the DM and ask the person who's hosting it if it's not one and the same. Um, so that's just common courtesy. Usually smoking outside. To me, it's out there. I don't want it in my house. I don't want smoke in my house. Um, okay, about the game. This is mainly, I mean, this is aimed at players also, but it's a certain type of player. Actually, all players, but especially a certain type of player. If you're going to play, play. Pay attention to the game while we're in the game. Put down the cell phone, put down the tablet, unless you're actually doing stuff like looking up rules and such, something pertaining to the game. And I'm also the specific person I was talking about was the what I call the hanger-on player. They're doing it because their friends are doing it. They're doing it because their spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend are doing it, and they're really kind of not quite into it. after 2 sessions, if they're being kind of a load, like, oh, I don't know what to do. Some people, see, to me, some people are ignorant and they like it that way, especially if they don't want to deal with it. All of a sudden get stupid. Well, I don't know. I don't remember which was. I invented a whole character sheet for champions, and then I invented it for second edition AD&D. I'll figure out someplace to put it. I'll put it up there. But it's got on this. There's on the character sheet. It gives you every single rule you need to know on how to play the character and how to do a fight. What are these stats for? What are these stats for? How do you roll to hit? Armor class, what's it for? Blah 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 blah. And I did that for one person. I was playing in a Champions campaign in San Jose long ago where this one girl who was obviously here just for the social aspect of gaming, she really didn't care about playing. I mean, I'm surprised that she even got a character made, because she was more concerned with talking small talk and stuff like that, and I'll get to that in a minute. But every time, okay, in Champions, a lot of you know, Champions is all D6s, and to roll to hit, you roll 3d6 and roll under the target's defenses, okay? Every single time it came up to her phase, the first thing she would say was, how many dice do I roll? After about the 10th time, I wanted to boot her to the moon because she wasn't paying attention. She's chit-chatting over here. And that's why I'm saying, if you're going to play, play. Anyway, I made a whole character sheet up just for her. So she go, how many dice do I roll? Look on the sheet. It's right there in black and white. So if you're going to play, play. Okay? If you don't want it, you're not interested in, say, your boyfriend or girlfriend or your husband or wife are into it, let them play. Let them go do it. They'll have plenty of time for you. I'm sure they can make plenty of time for you to do stuff. You probably have other friends and other interests and things like that. But if they're into it, let them. It's not going to hurt anything. Just you're out one night with them or something. You're out one night. You could be together. There's 6 other nights. Um, and then again, the corollary of that, the next one is learn the rules. And I'm not saying, I'm not going to quiz. As DM, I'm not going to quiz you on them. You're not going to take a final, but know the rules well enough to, like, this is what I do to move. This is what I do to hit. 99% of what you need to know is how do I make an attack or how do I defend? And, that's pretty easy to learn. Any DM, and if you're having trouble, ask the DM. Ask them to explain it to you. You know what I'm saying? And the last one is respect the players and the DM. You should always respect the DM's decisions in game. Now, my philosophy of that is if something doesn't work, that's what judgments or calls are for the DM. Rulings, not rules. If it's wrong according to the book, or if there's a hole in the game where, how do you adjudicate it? New word. Adjudicate it. Make a decision that seems fair. Then after the game, you deal with it. Talk to the players about it. If you're doing it wrong, go back to the book, fix it the next time. If there is no rule for this thing, you can make a rule with the input from the players saying, okay, do you feel that was fair? Decide on something and say, okay, from this point forward, we're going to do it like this. Okay. I mean, I know some players will get a little ticked off if you don't rule in their favor, and it really kind of gimps what they were, the character is and stuff like that. But like I said, you can always make it up to them after the game. So those are my kind of ideas of gaming etiquette, and that a lot of that applies to whether you're at a convention or at somebody else's house or in a public place, right? And if I think of more, I'll maybe do another episode on this. But in the meantime, that's all I got right now. So until next time, bye-bye.